Hello, Bobcats. Mr. Buckman here, and today I'd like to show you how to do your monster biology assignment for reading for ELA. Okay, and I wanted to do a quick example of this because one thing you'll notice is it actually doesn't say monster biology on this. But this is actually a really fun assignment, and I had a lot of success with my students last year for both reading and even math as well too. You might see some reasons why this would be helpful for math as well. But like I mentioned, we've got this worksheet here. At the top it says numerical prefixes, and then it also says Greek Latin roots for anatomy. And the reasoning for this assignment, two things. One, it's practice of Greek Latin roots, specifically numbers and body parts. Two, it's also a fun way to create your own monster and draw it and have fun and name it and give it certain qualities. And I have a feeling that every one of you will each create your own unique monster, get it drawn, and also be practicing some of these roots along the way. So, for monster biology assignment, what you will be doing is you will be combining what are known as numerical prefixes. These are Greek and Latin roots that are hints about a number, okay? You'll see these inside of words, and when you see them in words, there are ways to kind of assume what the word might mean, specifically if there's a number involved, okay? And then we also have roots for anatomy. And when I say anatomy, I mean body parts, okay? Now, I've broken these into both Greek. Anytime you see the parentheses with a G, that means it's a Greek root. And I've also got parentheses with an L to show us our Latin roots. And one thing you will notice is some of these are both Greek and Latin. They're used by both systems, okay? But some of them are just Latin and some of them are just Greek. I do not care how you combine these. It is okay if you mix a Latin root with a Greek root. I do not care, as long as you get some practice using some of these roots, okay? So moving on. To create your monster, you have to envision each body part of your monster and how many of those body parts do they have, okay? Let me tell you show you what I'm talking about. With the numerical prefixes, you'll see a list that has both Greek and Latin numerical prefixes. Let me show you on the sheet right here, okay? We've got Greek going up to 20, but also including 50 and 100. And we also have the same for Latin over on this side. You'll see some of these roots are actually the same, okay? But we've got, for instance, the Greek and Latin root tri, which means 3. And you can think of something like a tricycle is a cycle with 3 wheels, right? Or if you do a triple axle in competitive skating competitions, you jump up and you spin 3 times. That's called a triple axle, and that comes from this root here. Okay. Another example would be 7 is sept. This is actually Latin, and you might actually see this. We've also got oct or octo or octa. All forms of that, either just OCT or OCTO or OCTA, meaning 8. And you might see these roots and say, you know what? Those look a lot like months of the year. That looks like September and October. But you know what? If I remember correctly, September is the 9th month and October is the 10th month. Why is that? We're not going to discuss that today, but that has to do with what's known as the Roman calendar, where in the old Roman calendar, September actually was the 7th month, and October was actually the 8th month. They just kind of forgot about the winter months. We'll talk about that another time, okay? So these would be examples of numerical prefixes. We also have other ones like quadra, like a quadricept, right? Or a quadrilateral has 4 sides, okay? You might also see things like penta, the Latin root for 5. We would think of the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., the headquarters of our nation's military. It has 5 sides, or a pentagon, which has, well, that's the same thing as the military place, but it has 5 sides to it, right? Those are the numerical prefixes, and they're meant to tell whoever's reading the word, that there's a number quality to this, okay? Now, we're going to move on to roots for anatomy, okay? I also have roots for anatomy right here as well. And we've got, for instance, head, cephal, C-E-P-H-A-L. This is a Greek root meaning head, okay? Or opt, or klops, which is Greek meaning eye. We also have brak, which means arm. That's a root for arm in Greek, okay? Now you might be wondering, why are we trying to mix numerical prefixes with body parts? Well, because your monster is going to have more than 2 arms, or more than 1 head, or more than 2 eyes. They can have anything you want. So you'll notice that I put a plus sign here in the middle. In order to tell us more about your monster, you will need to combine numerical prefixes with roots for anatomy. And I'm actually going to give you an example right now. Now, you won't see the numerical prefix for 1, which is CY, but we know there's a mythological creature called a cyclops, okay? A cyclops. And this actually translates to meaning 1 eye. Any of you that have ever seen the mythological creature known as a cyclops would know that that creature has only 1 eye. But let's take that off there for a second, and let's add this root here. Now we have triclops, and triclops would mean that your monster has 3 eyes, okay? Let's try another one. Let's use the Latin root for 5, which is penta, okay? You would do penta, and you would add the root for anatomy for, let's say, arm. Let's give your monster 5 arms. Why not, right? So you would call your monster a pentabrak. These are not real words. They are words that you are making up to describe your monster for monster biology. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. There is one last component of this, and I want to let you know, these descriptions of how many eyes and how many arms they have, that's what you will fill out right here. You'll see here, number of heads, number of eyes per head. Okay, does this make sense? You're going to fill this out making up words where you have combined numerical prefixes with roots for anatomy. Okay? When you are done telling us about your monster on this paper, you may use either construction paper or the flip side of this assignment to draw your monster. And this is a very important aspect of this because you can describe your monster all you want, but I want to know, what color is it? Does it have hair? Is it a peaceful creature? Is it a mean creature? Draw something so I can see what it looks like, okay? You can even give it a name if you'd like to. In any case, monster biology assignment, combine numerical prefixes and roots for anatomy to describe your monster and then draw it. Thank you, and I hope you have fun with this one.